Hello chums, I'm Colonel Failure and you're watching the Colonel Reduced for June 2018. June already. I made my big fuss about the time just rattling away. I did that last month, so we won't do that again. Hello everybody, here we are. I'm sorry it's a bit late this month, but you know, we're still in the first few days, so you know, let's not get carried away. Just purely time, things moving, lots of work stuff going on at the moment, and that's I might have some news. Yeah, I know the crossing of the streams, work-wise, in the next month or so. But you know, we'll see what transpires. Anyway, we're almost at 25,000 subscribers, and as I write, we might even be there. Let's have a look. Boom, boom, boom. Phone app. See. Yeah. No, we're at 24,998. There's something wacky going on with subscribers at the moment. I know that that YouTube did a bit of a purge of dead accounts, as they do periodically. Last month, maybe month before. But since then, the numbers have been far more volatile than they are typically. So my actual change in subscribers is pretty much the same, but it's up and down like a yo-yo throughout the day. So yesterday, for example, I woke up in the morning, it was at 24,992. At lunchtime, I was at 24,985, and I'd come back to 24,990 at the end of the day. So it's very strange. It's usually a lot more straightforward than that. And now they won't be reporting your subscriber number in real time, because the amount of processing involved in doing that for millions of channels would be enormous. So there's going to be something going on with caching, or the way that they release that data out. And something I've just had an idea. Beg your pardon. I'll just load this up for something to talk about in a minute. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, that one. Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, that'll do. Thanks. So I mentioned just now, there you go, I just fished up some data. Yeah, I mentioned just now that there are millions upon millions of channels, and to put that into some kind of context, my channel with just shy of 25,000 subs, I'm the 246,543rd largest channel. I'd very much like to be, I'd like to, I mean, I'm inside 250,000 now. I'd very much like to crack the 100k mark at some point. I've no idea where you need to be to crack 100k, but I'd quite like to do that. That'd be nice. For views, I am the 373,758th in total, and I've got 5.75 million views across the lifetime of the channel, and that number's always going up. I mean, both numbers are always going up, but here we go, on to the meat and indeed potatoes of today's lecture. I hope you've got your notepads handy. For those of you in Colonel School, and for those of you in the Officers Club, you'll know already that I've got a plan afoot to change things up quite dramatically, actually. And the reason for that is not because I don't like what I'm doing. I do like what I'm doing, but it's not propelling. It's not pushing things forward. You know, the numbers go up every month. Come on, I tell you what, let's put some light on here so I'm not quite so shady. There you go. It does turn you just a little orange if I do it like that. No, that's even more orange. I mean, we could do this in black and white, I suppose, but no, let's just do that. Sorry, lighting, people. It's all important. I'm getting some good light from the window here, but nothing from over there. I could go and open the curtain. No, never mind. Let's just crack on. Yes. So for the last, I mean, if you've been around for a couple of months, you'll know already that that for the most part of this year, I've been having the furrowed brow of. It's all slowed down, and you know, and pre-transport fever, I'd got used to the concept of each month was better than the previous. Each month was performing more strongly than I had done beforehand. Transport fever came along, and there was a huge spike, and then the spike eased off again. Had a nice big month last summer, but fundamentally the numbers have been flat. So I've been continually doing between 230 and 300,000 views every month, and that's been that way for the last 18 months. And then subscriber numbers, they've been up and down a little bit, but for the most part, you're talking between 300 and 500 new subscribers a month. Now that's great. You know, I'm incredibly pleased to be growing like that. You know, that there's any kind of consistent growth at all. It's fantastic. But it's not going to get me to the position where I can have a serious conversation with herself about throwing in my career and or at least putting it on hold while I do this stuff full time. Because I've got so many ideas video wise for what I'd like to do. And for how I would fill the let's say 12 hours a day that I currently occupy with work, you know, there's no lack of progress that would come from that, but I can't just throw away the 20 plus years that I've been investing in a career that has got me to a certain level of seniority and equally a certain salary that is not easily replaced. So you know, we've had some conversations about it in the past, and therefore I'm not big enough. So yeah, so I want to grow a bit bigger so I can, you know, stop mucking about doing part-time stuff and go full-time with it. We'll see. We're a long way off that. And here's the thing: is and this came from her as well. She said a couple of weeks ago. She goes, "What's the first sign of madness?" And that is continuing to do the same thing over and over again while expecting different results. And that got me thinking. And I went like, well, I am doing the same thing over and over again, and I'm expecting or hoping for different results. And therefore, I either settle for those results and how that's going, or I throw the old plan out the window and go with a new one. Now, there will be giggles amongst you for those of you who have witnessed the numerous new plans that I have discussed previously, because I'm never short of a new plan. Executing the new plan, however, you know, that's a slightly rarer fish. So there is going to be a new plan, and in the next 20 minutes or so, I shall unveil that plan to you. It's a little way off from starting, because I need to wrap up a couple of things before I start to kind of push forward with this. But here's the kind of rationale. Here's the thinking, right? So my top 5 most viewed, my top 5 videos in terms of the number of views that they've had represent 10% of all the views I've ever received. Literally 10%. They also represent the 10% of all the subscribers I've ever made out of 5 videos. Now, on my channel in total, I've got 1,300 and change in terms of the number of videos I've produced. 5 videos made up 10%, which meant that if I'd done 50 videos that were the same as that, my channel would be exactly the same size, and I wouldn't have had to record 1,300 videos. Now, I like making videos. I also like making them the way that I do, where I, you know, set the game running, set the microphone on, and I just chunter away, and hopefully something that is mildly engaging comes out the other end. That's the theory, and you know, that works to a greater or lesser extent. And there's people who, my regulars, as I call them. You guys are like, you know, you're the special, trusted, chosen people who will be among my host when I sweep to power. But the regulars, of which there are between 1,200 and 1,500, who watch just about everything that I do, you know, they clearly they clearly get the shtick that I put on, the routine that I do, where you know, I get it a bit wrong, I get it a bit right, I come up with a mad cat scheme, I let you in on the way of thinking, I throw in the occasional pop culture reference, I procrastinate, I get things all over the shop, but largely I'm bringing you with me on a little story as I'm reading it in my head. And there are 1,500 people who get that. Now, the challenge is, how do I get from that 1,500 to 15,000 or 150,000 or 1.5 million? Well, it's exposure that gets you that far, and I don't think that there are 1.5 million people out there who would slide happily into the routine that I do now. I don't think that I've got that level of appeal. I do, however, think that there are 250, maybe 500,000 people out there who would be quite happy to be subscribed to my channel. If you look at the likes of the Mighty Jingles or Squirrel or Quill. You know, these are guys who are not dissimilar to myself in terms of their approach to things and the material that they cover. And I think, you know, in some ways that they've got different levels of professionalism to me, but in other ways I've got, you know, I bring something slightly different to the party as well. So, you know, I think there is an audience there. I mean, that's my assertion, is that I think that there's a 500,000 subscriber total for my channel. Which is more than enough, providing I manage to, you know, keep the quality up and keep people engaged sufficiently. So, you know, how do I get from 25k to 500, right? And largely that's exposure that's going to do that. It's actually getting that video in front of someone for the first time where they go, oh, I quite like this guy, I'm going to hit the subscribe button. And then after they've watched 3 or 4, maybe they choose to watch my videos instead of someone else's, because what you're talking about now, if you're a tubist, is you're not talking about people who are staring at YouTube going, oh, if only there was something to watch. YouTube does a phenomenal job at putting something that it's pretty certain that people want to watch in front of those people. So what you're actually talking about is taking views away from someone else, because everyone has a finite amount of time. And it sounds maybe cynical. It sounds maybe a little bit aggressive, maybe a bit unpleasant that you're going to be denying someone else their thing. But frankly, you know, if you're that big now, you've had your go. Let's let someone else have a go. And I'm sure that there's someone snapping at my heels who's going to you know, whip my audience away at some point. And fair play, because the 2 paths to success. I'm kind of going all over the place here, but this is a you know, it's the usual. But the 2 paths to success are what they've always been, which is get there first or get there best. The end. And those channels that I cited earlier on, they all sit in the get there first camp. And so I have to be better than them if I'm going to, you know, take audience share from them, or even I'm part of the same conversation and we're just denying some random, like, you know, here's a thing I found that does this thing video. Maybe I'm denying that of you. But that's the challenge that we all face who are in the YouTube camp. It's never been harder. The other, and it'll be harder again tomorrow, and it'll be harder again the day after that. If you've ever considered starting a channel, do it now. Don't wait. Gets harder every day. And you know, you need a certain amount of time when you're getting started, purely to learn what you're good at, to learn how you do these things. But you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. Yeah, you've got to get yourself into that cycle. And if you're in bad company, which obviously you are, I'm at your disposal, as are the other Kernel School members. If you want to come and join Kernel School, we do talk a lot of useful stuff. I'm behind. I owe Kernel School an essay on getting discovered, and I might do that on video actually. We'll see, but it'll be out this month. Sorry it's a little bit late. But I've just had stupid amounts going on. Anyway, right, so that's the overarching theory. The other one thing to mention as far as Let's Play is concerned is the Let's Play crowd, so, you know, people playing through a new game as it comes out, or an old game, and showing it off, is being destroyed by streaming. absolutely leveled. Maybe not with the older viewer, and I know I appeal to an older viewer, and I don't mean older as in older, I mean older as in, you know, the 25, 30 plus crowd out there, is that if you want to go see a new game, go watch someone playing it in real time. You can interact with them. You can feed back on what's happening. You get to see that unvarnished gameplay approach, where you do see the whole thing as it happens with you know, with warts and all, and that is eating into those people that are doing just pure let's play. Some games will always lend themselves more towards a YouTube environment for that kind of thing, but fundamentally, the audience is shifting. The audience is shifting, and there is a greater push towards better content on YouTube, being the stuff that really resonates. So there is, at the moment, a balance that I strike between the amount of time I spend recording and the amount of time I spend editing. So I mean, you can see this already. I mean, I assume most of you watch Transport Fever, if not all of you. But Transport Fever, my time spent recording is about 10 minutes, maybe, longer than you'll see on the screen. And that tends to be timing the intro properly. Because even if I'm not talking, if I'm not doing commentary or anything like that, I record from the second the game's loaded up, and just in case something happens. I've been caught with that before, where something great has happened while I've still been setting up. So I record a second it's loaded, and then I get the game buffered up correctly, and I turn the profit and loss things off, and then I set up my opening shot. So between that and the outro, the other side, is about 10 minutes. But it's very rare that I cut anything in between there. So if it's, as my last, I don't know, 6 episodes have been, if it's an hour long, then I recorded for about an hour and 20 minutes. And then, for about an hour and 10 minutes. And then the editing time, importing stuff takes about 5 minutes, during which time I go get a drink, and then editing time is about 10 minutes again. So I spend 1 hour 20 minutes maybe on me physically doing something on an episode of Transport Fever. It then renders, which takes another 15-20 minutes. Then it uploads, which takes another half an hour, 45 minutes. But I don't have to be here for that. That can just do its own thing, right? So an hour and 20 minutes to deliver 1 hour of content. That's not bad. And certainly view minutes count a great deal towards the number of views you get. But what I'm not making, and the reason that my top 5 are my top 5, is because there's only one route to success on YouTube. Ready? Here we go. This is a Kernel School fundamental, and they're all going to say it with me, is make great videos that people want to watch. Now, split that. I mean, that sounds utterly facile in principle, but let's split it up into 2 parts, right? Firstly, make videos that people want to watch. Well, how do you know what's a video that people want to watch? It's what they're searching for. I'm going to stick with Transport Fever because I'm going to assume we're all relatively familiar with it. So my main Transport Fever videos that deliver on views is how to get started, how to use signals, and the first part of gameplay. These are questions that people ask, either on Google or on YouTube. These are ways in which my channel is discovered because I've provided something of use to people who have a question. And those questions are perennial. My first ever Transport Fever video was the trailer. And I mean, that's at around 60,000 views, I think, something like that. And it still does a couple of hundred every week. The very first part of my Series 1 Let's Play is at 120,000 views, so that's the biggest one I've got on the channel, and that does 800, 900 views a week, because the title is getting started. And then I do some more stuff, right? And so all of my top 5 are videos that are what people are looking for. You know, it's about how to use the signals, how do you make more money. It's about a rare game, and here's the first piece of footage you'll see of it. Autonauts is a good example. I know some of you came in through Autonauts. Autonauts, I was the very first person to put a video up on YouTube. and it's purely because a friend of the dev team is on my Facebook friends list. And so when they put it up, they go like, we're really pleased, we've just got this thing to the first, there is a GIF of it in action. I went, that looks cute. Jumped on it immediately. Nobody else had it. So that video continues to perform because that video has earned authority, which means if someone just plunks in Autonauts into YouTube, there's a very high chance my video will be up there in the first 1, 2, 3 in the search results. So that's going to continue, you know, feeding me views for a very long time. Rise of Industry, same thing. I jumped on that the second I changed the name with my first series, so last year, and it continues to deliver. These are what we in Kernel School call hero videos, right? They are videos that are specifically designed with that people want to watch, make videos that people want to watch in mind. They tend to be either information or educational in nature, and they deliver in terms of views. They might not be much fun. I mean, as much as I can't help myself but try and deliver something that's quite fun, no matter how I do it, because, you know, I can't help my vocabulary. But that's a fundamental to getting some views. So let's break down the second part of that statement, make great videos. Now, this is something that my Transport Fever videos are and aren't at the same time. They are great because of my commentary, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I mean, the first lesson in Kernel School is know what you're good at, and my commentary, you know, it is the differentiating factor between my channel and others that are out there. Is the fact that my commentary is a little bit more harebrained, it's a little bit more just left field, but I don't polish it. You know, if I trip up over words, I don't have a second take. If I stand on a joke, as I occasionally do, as I regularly do, I don't have a second go at it. And I should. You know, in order to make things better, there does need to be a slightly more polished approach to it. And that's not to say that, like, you know, you remove all of the umming and the ahhing and the narrative storytelling, the fact that we're all in this together type stuff. No, I think that's part of the appeal. But at the same time, there are videos that I stick out that I just kind of go, you really didn't do the best of jobs with that one. And then when you look at my videos like the recent House Flipper video or Descenders, now those were engineered to be entertaining hero videos, and they are pretty good in terms of their performance, are pretty good. My problem with those, Voxel Tycoon, actually, if you saw my Voxel Tycoon preview from a couple of weeks ago, that's now over 10,000 views, which means it's performing very nicely. The reason it's over 10,000 views, not very many people have covered it. The opening minute, let's say, is bang on, absolutely brilliant. That's the level that I want to bring to things, where I think I took 4, 5 goes at getting that right. And I was never going to get it absolutely flawless. I didn't script it, but for those of you in Officers Club, when I record outtakes, you'll hear me take so the Frostpunk intro, I took 6 attempts to get that right, and you could tell there wasn't a script, but with each take that I did, I used some snippets of the language from last time round and recompiled them a little bit so that it worked just a little bit more fluidly and fluently. And that's really what I'm talking about when I mean, you know, polishing up what I do. Is you know, my hope would be to put together a playlist of 50 videos that immediately after watching one you want to watch the next one. And not because they're a sequence in the same series, but because, damn, that was funny. If you ever go see what is this called? Bad lip reading. Bad lip reading. You know, you might get attracted for the first time by the royal wedding or the NFL or whatever else that you know that draws you in. But then you go watch another one, and after you've watched a dozen or so, you kind of go, I'm just kind of getting the same jokes over and over again now, but it's really clever. And also, you've just watched 12 videos. That's where I want to get to. I want to get to the point where I've got a playlist of 50 different games, all delivered with the same kind of ethos behind them, you know, and you know, the start off point would be Descenders, and then House Flipper would be in there as well, and this ties into the fact that I've got massive range of taste of games that I like, and therefore I can't run a series on all of them. I've tried, and you've all seen me try, and it leads to a situation where I'm abandoning things after 3-4 episodes because it hasn't taken off. It hasn't exploded. You know, I try them out. You know, they get a tryout, and if their numbers are lunatic in terms of the number of views they get, I'll stick with it. Hasn't happened so far, and even when it has, I've still jacked it in. Autonauts. After 3 videos, I was just like, yeah, I'll come back to this a bit later because I'm just not feeling it. Rise of Industry. If I was doing Rise of Industry videos, I'd be making so many more views right now, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't going like, oh, I'm so excited about this. Flipping train railroads Tycoon Empire flipping thing that came out earlier this year. That was getting some very healthy numbers. Didn't stick with it. Machine Key last year. Very healthy numbers, wasn't sticking with it because the game didn't grab me, and because once I feel like I've seen all of the tricks and all of the sideshows that a game has to offer, I start running out of material very quickly. To which you kind of go like, well, you've got 250 episodes of Transport Fever. Why haven't you stopped with that? And the simple reason is that I can continue to come up with ideas, and it always takes me by surprise when you're sat in the right place and you get a great shot of a train going past. Now, I'm not a train aficionado in the slightest, but I like them. You know, I like heavy machinery and heavy industry and the Industrial Revolution and all that kind of stuff. You knew this already. But you know, that's why I keep making it, is because I'll think that, you know, I've pretty much exhausted. Hold on, I've got a new idea. And it's new ideas that are both my curse and my blessing, is that I never run out of ideas. So make great videos that people want to watch is the route to success. And you will know you've hit the route to success because people are sharing your videos. Because everybody wants to be the person who has found that funny thing that everybody wants to see. And this comes out of the great video more than the what people want to watch, because a funny video that's shared is a great video that people didn't realize they wanted to watch. Is something that post-watching they kind of go, that was great, give me more of that. But pre-watching they kind of go, I have no idea. But a recommendation from a friend who says, watch this thing, you'll love it. That makes all the difference. And historically, I've not done well at making the kinds of videos that people immediately go, oh, I've got to go show this to Sue or Dave or Genevieve. I think Genevieve will be a big fan, but you know, well, we'll just have to wait and see. So that's the goal, right? Remember, the top 5 videos that I've made have done 10% of all of my traffic and subscribers in the history of the channel. And that in the course of a week, you know, I spend X hours between recording and editing. And what I am aiming to do is increase ever so slightly the amount of work that I put in, but more of it will be on the editing side. So I'll be cutting back. I mean, the good thing about editing is that I can go in, do some, come back out again, and have a life. And rather than endless recording. I have tried the brute force approach. I've tried doing 7 videos a week, and I've been doing that for ages and ages and ages and ages, and it doesn't work. Well, it hasn't worked, or maybe it has worked, but I don't know because I haven't switched it back off again, right? Okay, I've got a 7-day cadence that I stick to, and I'm going to try something else. And the goal is, and this is going to be tough for me to do, 3 videos a week. But all of them are top-notch. No, let's not over-egg it. All of them are 8 out of 10 or better. To those of you who are kind of suddenly going like, but I want more Transport Fever. wait, hold on, there is more to this story. 3 videos a week. All of those videos will be well recorded, well edited, well commented, and hopefully funny enough that once in a while one will get shared. The other byproduct of this is maybe with fewer videos each week, individual videos get more views. Just assuming that they don't get shared, they don't pick up any extra audience. Maybe my subs, who over the course of a week will typically watch 60,000 video views, which is that's a number. Maybe they start putting, instead of the, let's say, Transport Fever again, a typical Transport Fever video of mine in its first 7 days alive will do 7,000 views, about 1,000 a day, although the first 3,000 are done in the first 24 hours. What if instead of it doing 7,000 views, it does 8,000? Well, that helps, actually. That will help me get more search power on YouTube, because you'll notice that the videos it recommends to you are based off your taste. It's based off what it knows you've watched previously. And interspersed with that will be videos that a ton of people have watched, because YouTube's primary aim is just to keep you watching. So it's going to throw stuff at you it thinks you want to see, which is why you don't see videos from people you've never come across that have got 12 views and have been out for 3 weeks. It's not going to throw you those because it doesn't think you're going to watch them. So what it will do is it will throw you videos you think you're going to watch. And obviously if more people have watched it, it's more likely going to throw you that video. That's really distilling down quite a lot of theory in there, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. So if I take my 7,000 view video and it does 8,000 views, it's going to get stuck in front of a few more people, is the theory. The same goes for other games as well. If instead of me putting a new game video out and it doing 3,000 views in the first week, which is pretty typical for, something that is out of left field, what if instead it does 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000? Then all of a sudden we've got something interesting going on. And if at the same time I've put more effort into making those videos better so that they have a more shareable component to them, or they are delivering on what people want to watch better, then overall, then we're off to the races. Because here's the other big thing, is if you put out a video that actually does get a heck of a lot of attention, right? So you do something that it gets, in my case, right, a heck of a lot of attention would be 20,000 views in the first week. It lifts the whole channel. Everything you do just picks up. You get views on old videos that you never got before. And this isn't because of people coming in and watching that one thing that was uplifted. It's because YouTube go, oh, this guy's hot. Let's uplift all his stuff. Or she's made her a winner here and people clearly like the way she's doing things. Let's do everything she's ever done. So if I can put out a hot video once every 2 weeks, it uplifts the entire channel. And basically my goal is, I'm planning in the first instance to do this 3 video a week approach. I'm planning to do it for 2 months to see what happens. And if it performs better, I'm going to stick with it. If it performs the same, I'm going to stick with it because I think that it is a smarter approach. If it performs worse, I'll revert back. Ta-da! And you'll be informed all the way. Join Discord for up-to-the-minute conversations on these topics. The link is in the description. Join Kernel School if you want to get involved in the absolute nitty-gritty. I've written 8,000-ish words in essays so far on the ins and outs of building a channel. And they're all available to you right now if you choose to go to that level. I'm not upselling you, I'm just letting you know it's there. Should I make excuses? No, I probably shouldn't, but I do anyway, because I'm still not 100% comfortable with being, trying to commercialize. I should be trying to commercialize the people who don't currently support me rather than the people who currently do. Anyway, in alignment with this, so to get to this point of hitting 3 videos a week, I'm going to try and wrap up, well, I will wrap up baseball, which will be the end of my foray into sports. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. If and when I go full-time, I'll possibly run a sports channel as a separate project. I could make a great sports channel, but it needs to be all sports all the time. Otherwise, subscribers you acquire for this video don't watch that one because it's totally unrelated. I also need to rethink the way that I do survival games, but that's okay because I've already got that in hand. Conan is sticking around. I'm not up to that bit yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right, yeah. So yeah, I'm killing off baseball, but I'll kill it off by finishing the season. It's a lot of fun to play. Nobody's watching it, but it's a lot of fun to play. I like the characters that are emerging. It's great. I probably will do a piece of Bam Bam Puckeye merchandise, just purely because I think it might be quite popular. Bam Bam Puckeye, swing and a miss. Picture of Bam Bam in the middle. Something like that. Will I bring Motorsport back for Bad Company? Yeah, I probably will. I've just got to figure out a way of getting it done. I think the way to do it might be to book a day and record like half the season in a day, and then eke that out. I know that's seeing behind the curtain a little bit, but also I'll be on screen for that. That's the other thing I'm going to start doing is more face cam stuff. Herself is convinced that that by having that human to human connection, it makes your content way more approachable, right? And I'm pretty animated anyway. All of this hand gestury stuff that I do that normally. I don't switch it on for the camera. I'm just me. There isn't much. The only facade that I put on when I'm recording anything at all is a swear filter. That's pretty much it. The rest of it is just me. Yeah, I'm quite a lot like this. But in the real world, I'm quite a lot like this with an awful lot of swearing. 3 videos a week. Okay, so yeah, and Transport Fever. I might migrate it mid-season. So this series has got the legs to potentially be 100 episodes long. That's a lot. I don't know how much further I can get before I've completely filled the map, but I am nowhere near short of ideas of what to do with this map. And I haven't introduced a single diesel yet. The big boys only just showed up. I'm a long way from finished with this. So what I might do is I might migrate the format midway through, because I've got an idea on how I'm going to do the more highly polished, the more highly edited Transport Fever without losing the style, the tone, the charm that the existing series has. I've got a notion with that regard. Now then, the other side of this is that, and I can feel some of you kind of going, you know what? I like the unpolished, the kind of rough and ready approach that you do. I don't need it to be more polished. I'm having a whale of a time with it as it is now. That's fine. Good. I like you guys. I'm going to do more streaming. The idea is, and Herself is bought in, is that I'll stream once every 2 weeks. And I'll alternate between a series that I'm running as week 1, where it will be very much like a standard recording that I do now, except with a bit more audience interaction. Yes, I will package that up afterwards and I'll put it somewhere. Might be a new channel, might be my existing channel, but I don't really want to mess with the flow on the existing channel. So I don't know how exactly I'm going to do it, but it will be available after the fact. And then the other video every 2 weeks. So every 4 weeks, there'll be one video that is from a core series and one video that is a Bad Company multiplayer event. There will be more Bad Company multiplayer events, because one of the things that I want to do is kind of free up an evening a week where I play games, just for the sake of playing them. Maybe I plug in a Discord, maybe I don't, but playing games at least one evening a week is something that I'm kind of keen to do. And playing games with Bad Company I always find to be a great deal of fun. I want to finish off the Stellaris game, people. That was shaping up very nicely. I'll start the discussion on Discord at some point this weekend, and we'll try and lock down a date for stage 2. What I can't guarantee is that all of you who are involved in the first part can join in the second part, because it's rather like herding cats. People are going to be all over the place. But anyway, that's the plan, right? The next Bad Company game, other than Stellaris, which I don't know if will be on camera or on stream or not, probably will be actually. Stellaris streams are a piece of cake. The number of people involved, an 8-hour stream is in a multiplayer game is as low impact in terms of the amount of brain flub that I have at the end of it as doing a 4-hour one where it's just me solo. So it's, you know, it's pretty effortless in respect to my side of things. But the next Bad Company game is going to be Conan Exiles. Okay, I know some of you are playing it already. Stegs and I are building up towards a crux point in our Play Together series. And I know it's coming quite slowly. I'm going to put this video out today, Friday. On Saturday, the next Conan Exiles is coming out. We'll get to about 10 episodes between the two of us, and then we're going to open it to multiplayer. And there's a good reason why it's going to happen at that point. So if it looks like it's your cup of tea, it's not like 7 Days to Die where you can dig holes in the ground. It's like Ark where you can't. Where that big rock that was in your front garden that you dug up yesterday to get some stone, 2 hours later it's rematerialized. It's that kind of survival game. It's quite good fun. The combat's very good in terms of the amount of control you have over it. But we've got a plan, and it's going to be an awful lot of fun. We're going to record quite a lot of it, and then we'll wrap that up. So I mean, to get your expectations in line, don't jump on it unless you want to play it on your own, right? Don't, because it's not discounted heavily anywhere at the moment. So you're looking at 25 quid or $30 or 30 euros or 17,000 Australian or your house in Canada. I joke because I care. It's all right. Sterling's going to be in the dustbin before too long. So yeah, buy it if you want to play it. You can play it single player, but like all survival games, if you play it single player, you're going to be spending an awful lot of time going, wow, what did you do in your game today? I did some digging. And then what? I took the stuff that I dug back to a chest, and then I went out and did some more digging. It was great. Yeah, I love that stuff. Don't expect it to stick around, right? So don't expect it to be the Bad Company game. The sequence is going to go Conan, 7 Days to Die, which will be a one-off event, or a one-day event, let's say, and then Eco, the post-apocalyptic series. Okay, those are the 3 games that are going to come up. So Eco, you should expect that, I would say, probably August, September. I'll keep the server running in the meantime, so you can carry on playing. Let me know through Discord if you want it resetting, restarting, whatever. I may even dip in occasionally, but don't count on it. So yeah, there's always going to be a Bad Company survival something that is going on in the background, and I will occasionally dip in. Good. Right. Okay, so there is the plan, and I've talked about other plans in the past. I've talked about doing 9 videos where the peak is in the middle. I've talked about doing this. I've talked about doing that. I'm talking about it in the other. Yeah. I've tried brute force based methods. I'm going to try a better quality content approach and see where it gets. I'm going to do it for 2 months and see what the impact is, both in terms of performance and in terms of lifestyle. And plus, you know, if I were to show someone one of my videos, I would probably pick Descenders. I think that's the best one I've done. From my own humble perspective, right? So in terms of the one that stands out for me, that would be the one that I'd do. It's, you know, it's a game that isn't related to my channel in the slightest, but it does show off my approach to things. So I want to do more like that, but it takes a heck of a long time to edit. I mean, that was about 2.5 hours of footage, cut down to about 18 minutes, 20 minutes maybe in length. And the editing process probably took about 2-3 hours. Great. I don't have time to do that all the time. But I want to do more tutorials as well. I've got a great idea for some Transport Fever stuff that I'm going to be following through on. So expect that to start emerging soon. I also... Typically, I had a really great idea for a new series, but it would require quite a lot of, rapid fire on that. But the pace is going to be, so 3 videos a week. I'm doing this a lot, and I don't know why my finger is not going straight there. I guess it just doesn't want to. Video 1 will be Transport Fever. Video 2 will be AN Other Game. Video 3, every other week, will be either a tutorial or a preview. That's the goal. That's the aim. That's what I'm chasing down. That's what I'm hunting for. I'm not going to do more than 3 a week. The rule that overrides that is, unless there is something that is core to my channel that comes out that demands a regular Let's Play, in which case I'll probably do a mix of slightly edited, not super edited videos, and live stream stuff as well. TBC. Right, but that's the plan as it exists on paper right now. So what's going to happen with me and Stegs? We're cooking up another project after Conan. It's properly complicated. I think it's got real potential. But for those of you who've ever referenced me and Stegs in the sense of being Laurel and Hardy, we're working on something. I'll probably have more on that with you for you next month, because it's a long way off. We need to spend some time actually working on that properly. But it's at the concept stage, and I think it's quite interesting. Anyway, there you go. That's going to wrap it up for this month. Again, sorry it's a bit late. I'll try and get next month's out a little earlier, although the end of June looks just ridiculously complicated for real world stuff, and then July is also ridiculously complicated. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for your continued support. It does mean an awful lot, and it is the primary reason why I'm even able to have conversations about potentially going full-time without herself hitting me in the head with a keyboard. I'm not even joking, bruv, as I have a tendency to say these days. Anyway, I'll be back pretty soon with more of the same. But in the meantime, more Transport Fever to come, more baseball to come. I'm going to try and keep up the 2 baseball a week. More Conan to come. What else have I got cooking at the moment? I don't think I've got anything else cooking at the moment, but we'll see. Anyway, that's your lot. Cheerio.